Hello viewers, welcome back to Network Home YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to learn about the patch process. So here the patch stands for the port address translation. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to it and don't forget to click on the bell icon to never miss an update from our channel. So let's get into the video. So here the PAT. So PAT is another type of a dynamic NAT. So which can map a multiple private IP addresses into a single public IP address by using a technology known as PAT. As you have observed in our previous videos, in the case of a static NAT or a dynamic NAT, we are using one public IP for one private IP. So here we are using one public IP for n number of private IPs. So PAT is also known as the NAT overload, as only one public IP address is being used with different port numbers for many private IP addresses. So the NAT process is also known as the overload. Why it is known as overload? Because only a single public IP will be used for n number of private IP addresses just by altering the port numbers. So port numbers are used to distinguish the traffic, that is, to which IP address the traffic belongs to. As we are using only one public IP, so we are distinguishing the traffic by using the port numbers assigned with the public IP. So PAT is most frequently used and it is one of the most cost effective, as n number of users can access the internet by using only one public IP address. So in case of a static NAT or in the dynamic NAT, so if we have 100 PCs, we need to buy 100 public IP addresses. So it was more costlier. So PAT is the most cost effective one, since we are using only one public IP in place of n number of private IP addresses. So let's understand it by doing the practical. So we have built a simple network here, and first of all I need to configure the routers. So let's click on the first router, get into CLI mode, enable, and config T. So now I'm in the configuration mode. Now I'll select the first interface, that is FA0/0. That is this interface. I'm going to assign the IP address for it and the subnet mask along with it. No shutdown and exit. Then I'll select the second interface, that is FA0/1. Then IP add. So I'm using the IP address here is 192.168.1.1 with the subnet mask, no shutdown, and exit. Similarly, I'm going to configure the second router. Enable config T, and the first interface FA0/0, that is this interface. I'm adding the IP along with the subnet mask. Then the second interface is FA0/1. And I'm using the IP address as 20.0.0.1 with the subnet mask, then no shutdown and exit. Now we have done the basic configurations with the routers. Now you can observe all the connections are up now. Then I will click on the server and I'm going to assign the IP address in a static mode. It is 20.0.0.2. Then I will mention the default gateway. So for this router, the default gateway is this interface FA0/1 with an IP address 20.0.0.1 and DNS server. So I'm mentioning the IP address which I have assigned for the server. Okay, then I'll click on the services. Since I have chosen it as a DNS server, I will click on the DNS. I will just create a website. Say network.home.com. So the record should be always in a record. And here address refers to the IP address of the server for 20.0.0.2. So don't forget to click on here. You need to switch on the DNS servers first, then click on add. So you can see the website and the IP address has been recorded. I'll click on this and save this. Then you can click on the first server. So we have not entered any routing protocol. So I'll be using the RIP protocol. So I'll be typing router RIP. I need to mention the network associated with the routers. So the first router, there are two networks. So one is 50.0.0.0 and the second network is this network 192.168.1.0. Similarly, I'll enter the routing protocol in the second router. So that is router RIP. So the network is, so one network is this one, that is 50.0.0.0. And the second network is 20.0.0.0. Then let's configure this router associated with 192.168.1.1, the 192.168.1.0 network with the PAT process. So here we need not assign the IP addresses, the public IP addresses manually, nor we need to create a public IP pool here. Just we need to mention, so which is the inside network, outside network, and we need to mention which interface has to be overloaded here. So let's do it. So first, I will mention which interface is the NAT inside or NAT outside. So I'll consider the first interface FA0/0. That is this interface, which will be the outside network. So I need to mention it as IP NAT outside. Then the second interface FA0/1. This is this interface which represents this inside network. So I need to type in as IP NAT inside. Exit. Then I will give the main command, that is the overload command I need to give. That is IP NAT inside. So I'm mentioning it for the inside network, that is 192.168.1.0 network. IP NAT inside source list 99. So source list, it is the access list I'm using. So it is a standard access list, ACL. So I'm using number, so you can use from 1 to 99. So I'm using the 99. Then I need to mention the interface which has to be overloaded. So since this FA0/0 is the interface, so it acts as a gateway for the outside network. So this particular interface has to be overloaded to access the PAT process for this inside network. So I have typed IPNet inside source list and I have mentioned the ACL number. And I'm mentioning the interface, that is this gateway interface FA0/0, and I will type in overload. So this interface has been overloaded, and all the devices associated with this interface, with this 192.168.1.0 network, will use 50.0.0.1 as the public IP to access the internet for any services. Then I will type in access list. So say 99, the ACL number. Permit, I need to permit this network to use the IP address 50.0.0.1 as a public IP. So 192.168.1.0 space. I need to mention the wild mask here. So then exit. Then I will go with the laptops. I will assign the IP addresses statically. Then the default gateway I need to mention. For this device, the default gateway is this one, 192.168.1.1. And the DNS server is this server IP address 20.0.0.2. Then similarly, I will repeat the step for the second laptop, 1.3. And it is 192.168. 1.1, and the server IP address 20.0.0.2. Okay, let's try to access this server from the devices within this local network 192.168.1.0. I'll go to the web server. Just type the IP address of the server, that is 20.0.0.2. As you can see, the website was opened. Similarly, I will check out with the second device. This time, I'll just enter the website name. And click on enter. So as you can see, the server was accessible using the website name and also the IP address of the server. Now to check out the NAT process, the NAT translation, you can click on this router. So now we are in the privilege mode. I will type in do show IP NAT translation. Okay, to just show IP NAT translation. Now you can see, observe. So this is the 192.168.1.2. This is the first laptop or the first PC we can see, and it has used the IP address. The public IP is 50.0.0.1. So this IP is nothing but the IP address of the router's interface 50.0.0.1. And the second PC or the laptop has used 192.168.1.3 was the private IP of the PC, and it has used 50.0.0.1 as a public IP. The only difference is there is a change in the port numbers that has been used. As you can observe, it is 1025, 1024. So these are all the port numbers. So we need not mention a separate public IPs for each and every private IP, or we have not created any pool here. Just we have mentioned the interface that has to be overloaded. Just by doing this, we are able to access the internet by using the single public IP for n number of private IPs. So this is all about the PAT process. Thank you for watching the video. That's all for the day.